Alright, so I guess we'll call this part two. There are a couple scenarios that I touched on, I talked about, but I didn't actually walk you through how to do it. Now I'm going to walk you through how to do it. So what if you want to take your existing LOR controllers and go ahead and convert them in every one of your LMSs over to DMX first, and then import into Xlights. The import's a little bit easier, but cleaning up your sequences could be more difficult. Of course, because the way I showed you how to do it before, where you just change your LOR channels and controllers over, typically then you can just export the channel layout and then re-import it on top of every one of your sequences. Depending on how many sequences you have and how out of order and jumbled up your channels may be, that may be the better way to do it. But then again, if you don't have a ton of sequences and your stuff isn't jumbled up real bad, then this may be the better way to do it, and I'll show you how to do that now. So here we've got this fire hazard sequence of mine, which is a tiny little 10-second sequence. And here are my LOR controllers right here. Now there's 96 channels inside of those. Now what I can do is go right here to the snowflakes, for example, right below them, and I can add insert a device below. So we'll insert a device below that. We'll name this LOR to DMX. Not DMC, DMX. Okay. We'll make that universe 70. I think I use 67 or something of my regular universe is 70. And we'll make that 96 channels. Now, we're not actually going to make those RGB channels because these just need to be AC channels. So we'll hit OK. And LOR will go make that universe right down below here. Now I can take every one of my LOR channels, which is all 96 of them inside those groups right there. I can select those rows. I can copy them. And then I can make sure paste by time is selected. Go to the first thing here, and I can just paste them in here. So now, for example, the last part of the snowflakes, the last channel should be blank, and then there should be that bar right there, and that should be the end of the DMX sequence. So we'll scroll down. There's that bar, last channel's blank. So there's all of my LOR channels converted over to a DMX universe. So I could do this first. And then, of course, I'd go in here and delete these LOR channels, the old LOR groups, because you don't need those unit IDs and circuits anymore. So you can delete every one of those out of your sequence. I've already done that here. So here it is. They're deleted out, each one of them. And then here's the actual DMX universe number 70 right here. Now, I already saved this sequence as well. The reason I didn't do that on video is because LOR is super slow at deleting stuff out of it and saving and all that good jazz. So, trying to save some time on these videos because I am long-winded. Anyway, moving on. So, to set that up in Xlights, it's a little bit easier now. Now that you've done that, if you go through and do this with every one of your sequences, you don't have to worry about those LOR channels being at the beginning and throwing things off. You can just hit add E131. Choose whether you're using multicast or unicast. We're going to start at universe 1, and we're going to go all the way to 70 because we know my LOR controllers are on universe 70. I don't go to 512 per universe. I only go to 510 as my largest universe, and we're just going to hit OK. Now we don't have to worry, and this is actually your channel lineup. You don't have to worry about what's on each individual universe, the size of it, any of that stuff. Because what it'll do is when you do this convert, it'll reach out to LOR and it'll say, okay, tell me what's on universe number 8. As long as you have enough channels defined in Xlights, then it will go over here and do it. Now you can specify and make these just the same exact size. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. I do specify mine. They are exactly the same size, and then I have my channels that changes my channels over here, and my models are mapped that way. But it doesn't matter. So once we hit setup, you can go over here to layout, and we're going to create a model that uses all of these last channels. That 35,191 is where it starts at. So let's go to layout. Let's create a model. New model. Name. Let's call this a single strand. Single. It doesn't matter what we call it. Single strand. Where's that at? There it is. Single line. We'll make it green again, single color green. Actual number of strands. And this is where I'm going to make things a little crazy. We're going to go, well, first we need to save that because I don't remember what those channels are. and how many of them there are. So we'll make this 96. Okay, so there's all 96 of our LOR channels. Starting channel, I don't remember what it was again, so let me go back here and look. Setup, 35,191, so 35,191. So we'll right click on this bad boy, model properties. Oh, that's not the right one. Where did my other model go? Single strand. Okay. Let's just use this one then. Single color green, 35,191. And then it should go through there and put every one of those on a different channel like so. All the way to 35,286. Alright, so there's that. We'll save that setup. Alright, now we're going to go in here to the sequencer. We're going to go File, New Sequence, New Musical Sequence. I don't care what the audio is. Let's just find something here. OneDrive, Xlights, shake it up, 20 frames per second. And we're going to import that sequence in. So we'll go in here and grab that from my libraries, desktop, Lightorama, sequences. And it's the one that says LOR to DMX, wherever that is, fire hazard right there. All channels off and in. Map empty LMS channels really doesn't matter because there aren't any. I mean, there are no LOR channels. So go through there, but it probably works the same. I don't know. I've never paid attention to it, whether it's mapping them as LOR channels or LMS channels. It does say LMS there, so it could just be any channel. But anyway, I'll go ahead and select it anyway. Done. Edit display elements. Add. We'll add that single line, not the tree, the single line. Then we'll double click on it to expand it, and then we will render it. And we should see our LOR data. So let's go over here and look in LOR and make sure this is lining up correctly. So we should start on channel 33. And ta-da, we start on channel 33 over here. See if I can pull this in so you can see it. And there she is. So there it is in LOR, starts on channel 33. And then on channel 49 it changes over to something else. So channel 49 it changes over to something else. And so on. So as you can see, once you've converted them, it's pretty simple, and it doesn't put the LOR controllers at the top. It just puts them into whatever universe you've defined inside Lightorama, which in our case was universe 70. We can double check other parts of the sequence to make sure that the RGB channels came in as well. So let's go create like arches, for example. So we'll go Models, New Model, and we'll call these arches. And we'll display them as arches. And number of arches we'll do 4. And nodes per arch is 50. Number of lights per node 1. And our starting channel, that I forgot to look at that again, so we'll need to go in here and look at that. So in Lightorama, my arches, sorry, I'm making this long again, and I don't need to be. But my arches are on universe 33, number 1. Okay? So if we go over here to our layout tab, we pick our arch. First we need to know what 33 is. So universe 33 starts on channel 16,321. Model properties, 16,321. There's all of our arches laid out. Now we save that, and we go back over here to the sequencer, minimize that, we edit the display, we add the arches into the mix, and we expand them. And that's the cool part. You actually don't have to bring the data in again. You don't have to re-import. It's all there. It's sitting there. So once you define your models, it's all there. So if we look here, that right there should line up exactly with what's going on with my arches on Lightorama. And yes, it does. They are absolutely perfect. I could even go as far as to make them look perfect too. I really wanted to get that. There you go. Now they're almost identical. So there you go. Now there's my arches brought over into Xlights. So that way is a little bit easier, depending on if your sequences are organized or not. Okay. If they're not very organized and you have channels jumping around, you're going to have to renumber your channels, change your box IDs, unit IDs. If everything's in order and everything's clean, just create another DMX universe, paste everything into it, delete your LOR channels out of your LOR sequences, save them with a new name. I'd keep your old stuff, and then just re-import and go over there and import. And you could define on this one, it makes your setup tab a lot easier. You could just have as many channels, up to 510 on each universe, or up to 512 technically speaking, but that way it's a little bit easier to bring your stuff in. Now I did have another user send me one of his files, so we'll look at it as well. And this is first of the year. So here is his, and his has absolutely no LOR controllers in it whatsoever. And he asked me, how do I import that? This is just strictly RGB in LOR. That's pretty simple too. So first thing you need to know, one of the main things you need to know, is just go to Tools, Channel Configuration. And you're going to know this already, but I don't know this. This is somebody else's sequence. And I'm just going to scroll down through here, and I'm going to look and see what his highest universe number is. And it looks like universe number 12. Okay? And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball and look and see what his highest channel count is on each universe. That one's 132. That one was 324. Looks like most of them are pretty random. 438. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to try to make it as close as possible. So it looks like universe 1 and 2 use like 450, I think is what I saw. Yeah, 450. Alright, so we'll just make all of his universes 450. Okay, so let's go over to Xlights. Let's blast all this away again. Let's create a new model. Create a new channel lineup. So add E131, multicast, starting universe is going to be 1. The number of universes will be 12. And we're going to make each one of his universes 450. That will cover each set of channels in each universe. So there we go. We will save that setup. Now what we're going to do is go grab his sequence. So new sequence. We'll get rid of the changes on the other one. New musical sequence. Yet again, I don't care what the audio is. Let's just grab some random audio. 20 frames per second, Light-O-Rama. And we're going to go grab his sequence, which I believe... Where is that thing at? It's in my downloads, but there's so much crap in my downloads. Let's see if I can't save it somewhere easier to find. So, File, Save As. Let's put it in here. Save. Okay. So now I've got that saved. So now I know where that's at. It's in my OneDrive folder in public. And we'll go grab that first of the year LMS. All channels off and in. Map empty LMS channels. Okay. And we'll wait on that to import. Now this is typically quicker than the convert tab, so we'll see how long it takes. You can see down here in the bottom left hand corner is your status. It's found 2,000 channels, 3,000. I'll probably just let the video play on this one. Alright, so done. Now what we'll do is we need to create him a model that uses all those channels. Here we have, how many channels does he have total? About 5,400, so he's not really using all of those, but that's what we have. So let's go create a model that uses about that many channels. Let's just do it 5,400. Oh wait, that's wrong. Starting channel number is 1. Actual number of strings is 5,400. There you go. Let's see if that works. Last channel is 16919. I have no idea what that's talking about. Let me go back over here and look and see what I did. Okay. 5400. Oh, yeah. I've still got the arches defined here from when we were playing a second ago, and it's telling me that the arches shouldn't be defined anymore. So we'll delete those. All right. So now this model is the one we were messing with. Number of RGB nodes, 1,153. Start to channel 1. That'll be fine. All right. So now let's go over here and let's add this model. What was the name of it again? Single. Okay. So sequencer, edit display elements, add models, single, add, close. And we'll double click. And here's all his nodes. We will render that out. And I have no, oh, because I've made them as single channels. Crap. Okay, let me fix that. Layout, properties, RGB nodes. That should fix things. Yeah, I know it's further than the channels actually created. Alright, so there we go. Now it's changed it back over to nodes. So there's something funky going on here. Node number 12 is purple, and it shouldn't be, I do not believe. Let's go look at his sequence. So node number 12, no, it definitely should not be purple. So what in the heck's going on? Here's the beauty of Xlights too. If you have errors in your LOR sequence, when you import them, they become extremely evident when you import into Xlights. So there's obviously something going on here with node number 12. It looks normal in LOR. Node number 12, there's nothing wrong with it. If I expand it, the channels all look correct. Except they don't. So let's click on that again. Does anybody else see this? Universe 1, Universe 4, Universe 1. So there's a random Universe 4 in here on the green color. We can verify that by going to Tools, Channel Configuration, and we can just start scrolling down through here, and you're seeing Universe 1, Universe 1, Universe 1, and bam, a random Universe 4. So let's change that channel back to Universe 1. I'm sure he did not mean to put that in as Universe 4. I'm sure that was just a fat finger somewhere or an accident right click or something. So we'll change that and hit OK. And we will resave that sequence with the channels corrected on it. And we'll just double check it here. 1, 1, 1. Okay. So I'm sure he doesn't realize this error is in here. Hopefully he will watch this video all the way through in its entirety. Because it will show him that he has an error in his LOR sequence in his channel layout. Unless he just randomly wanted to have Universe 4 right there on node number 12 going up a tree. Highly doubt it. Now here's the cool part about Xlights. If you bring these in as data layers, which I highly prefer and I highly recommend, because once they're in here as a data layer, you can still edit on top of them. So if you don't like what's going on here, let me get rid of this timing mark. You could just do stuff on top of it, and I go into more detail in my video around earlier this year about Xlights. But you could just go ahead here and add effects on top of it, make your tree spot. Alright, sorry about that. I had to shut the video off. I got choked. So I think what I was talking about is the data layers and how much I like the fact that you can go in here and just put stuff over top of your already done sequences. Well, if you drop it in the right spot, you can. Like, for example. And then if you don't like what you did, you can just delete it. Now, it looks like it deleted your sequencing, but it didn't. You can just hit render and it'll pull your data layer right back in. Now, we still have that purple going on here from where his sequencing was messed up earlier. So that's that purple. How are we going to fix that? You don't have to go all the way from the beginning and re-import. This is another reason I like putting everything in here as a data layer. You can go up here to settings. Once we already changed it in the LOR sequence editor, we went in and fixed that Universe 4 that was randomly in there. So we can go to sequence settings, data layers, and there's that first of the year. We can just hit re-import. So what it'll do is it'll reach back out to that LMS file and it'll pull it back in. So now that it's doing that, since we fixed that Universe 4 over there, and I'll just pull it up and verify that we did fix it. So there's node number 12. and we'll double click or click on that. Universe 1, Universe 1, Universe 1. That was Universe 4, so it's pulling some randomness in there. So we did fix it. So it's reaching back out to the sequence and it's finding it. So it's going to pull those in fresh, and it's going to completely convert them and bring them back in. So we'll hit done. Now if we render this, ta-da, it fixed this purple. So hopefully you did watch this. I don't remember what your name was. I apologize. Let's see here. Curtis. So Curtis, I hope you are watching this in its entirety, because you do have an error in your LMS file. And Xlights Convert will definitely spotlight those errors and bring them to the forefront. So there's all your LOR stuff brought over into Xlights.